Hey, Tubies! It's Psychic Bob. Well, here we are. We're back. All y'all been writing all week saying, we missed the witching hour. Where's the witching hour? We won't forget y'all. Y'all are all here, and we're all back. And it's the gathering of the tribes. We got our whole group with us. We got Lady Angela, Lord Tony, and Lady Carol. Y'all want to say hi, Lady Angela?
Hi, everybody. I'm glad you're here and excited for tonight's show.
Yay, Lord Tony.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be here. It's going to be a great show.
Yay. And we got Lady Carol as well.
Hi, everybody. Glad to be here. Hope you enjoy the night.
All righty. Well, the gathering of the tribes is here. Lady Angela, I got to get my chat going. Do you see anybody yet in the chat?
Oh, yeah. We got quite a crew here tonight. We have Salem Show, Tina Sellens. We have Maria Zarati. We have Dion. We got Gav is here tonight. Hermit, G-Dog, Paul Croft, Laura M. Lots of new names and lots of faithful followers and OPC members. Hi, everyone.
Hey, guys. Well, welcome to our show. We're so glad you're here. And, you know, I tell you, I always love our Sunday night gathering because, you know, it's a special time. You know, when we started the OPC, we didn't have this technology like we got today. Did we, Lady Angela?
No, we sure didn't, but it sure is fun now that we could get together and interact, you know, with everyone as a group. It's awesome.
I think it's great. You know, Lady Angela, you've been doing a study of the collection of our rituals, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I posted them over on both Facebook pages. We did more rituals using our new technology than I realized. Were you guys, Tony and Carol, were you guys surprised with how many there were that we had done?
Oh, yeah.
It didn't seem like it, did it?
I didn't even realize, you know, the short time that I've been here, I didn't even realize we've done, you know, that many.
Right.
In that short period of time. I was like, wow.
That's cool.
They just go by so fast.
Right.
Absolutely. You know, I was amazed. And Lady Angela is working on developing the official orders book. That'll be the sacred book, aren't you, Lady Angela?
Yes, I got a hold of some awesome purple paper. And I'm making myself the demo book. You know, I'm making myself a purple book, and it's so cool. The pages are purple, and I printed our rituals in there, and there's plenty of journal pages to add to. And I'm really excited to get next week. I will have that book ready. Right now, it's almost there, but not quite ready enough to show you tonight. But next week, I will show you. It is so pretty.
And that's going to be a treasured part of our history, you know?
Right.
And Lady Angela's the keeper of that garden. So I think it's very, very exciting, you know?
And, you know, people, especially Purple Cord members, if they want me to make them a book, I could always include those in the book for them, you know, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I got to give some shout outs here. I see my friend Gav's here from London. He's up late. Mama Bird's here. G-Dog's here. Tina Sellens is here. There, Salem Show. Guys, welcome. Dion's here. Adele's here. Salem Show's here. Producers, Ponderous Prose is here. I love that name. That's a great name. Guys, thank you for being here. We're so glad, and we're glad to have you back. We missed you last week. You know, so y'all know last week I was traveling. I was at Mom's, and I tell you, I got back. But, you know, it's funny. Whenever you travel, it takes a whole week just to get readjusted. You guys find that? Like when you travel, it's like, come back home, it's like you got to get everything back in order. You ever have that problem? Maybe it's just me.
I don't do much traveling, but I know me and Tony can vouch for after working a long day. And what we feel like afterwards is like nothing.
Yeah, I just completely lost all of that. I had no sound coming through here for a while.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, what we were talking about traveling, and I was asking people, I said, you know, since I got back from my mom's, I said, I feel like it's taken me a whole week just to get resettled in my house, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I said, I don't do much traveling, but me and you, Tony, we can vouch for after a long work day or a work week, but we feel like it takes a while to get back up and feeling like doing anything.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love my 10-hour shifts.
Oh, geez.
That sounds like Lady Angela. She works some of those as well.
Yeah, I'm on a 9-day-in-a-row stretch right now. I'm right in the middle of it.
I'll tell you, I'm kind of getting there myself. You know, with Christmas season, so many people are calling for private readings. And I want to say thank you. We got some people, I know some of y'all had readings with me in our chat. I want to say thank you for being here. And I tell you, it's getting crazy in Psychic Bob's world. But you know what? We're still getting people on the schedule. And, you know, you can reach out at any time. Give me a call, 703-825-3929, and I'll get you on, okay? So don't think that you can't get in. It is a busy time, but we'll get you in, you know.
Absolutely. Maria Zarate has a great question about what does it mean when she sees crows?
Ooh, I love that. Well, you know, I love ravens, which are a relative of the crow. And by the way, you know what the difference is between a crow and a raven? Ravens are a little larger. Lord Tony, go ahead.
Yeah, ravens are definitely bigger than the crow.
Yeah, but they have a distinct feature. On the crows, the tail feathers fan outwards, and on the raven, the tail feathers go down to a diamond-like shaped point.
Oh, interesting.
That's the only difference, but they're similar. So that's a good question. I find that crows and ravens, at least in my case, are protective. When I see one, it tells me I'm being protected by spirit. That's one of my totems. Now, different people have different interpretations. I don't know if y'all see it differently. What do you think, Lady Carol? What's your thought on crows?
Well, from what I know about crows, they also have a different beak size than the ravens. Their beaks are longer, and you know, of course, you know, them being bigger birds and all. Now, I usually go out each morning and feed the crows because there are tons of them here where I'm living, which is beautiful. But I noticed that the patterns with them have changed from summer to winter time. Usually, you know, in the summertime, they'll roost, but not as long. Wintertime, they roost, and it seems like they just move in. So,
So you got some new neighbors in your backyard.
yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because I'm currently babysitting my son's 4 dogs along with my 2, so I've got 6 dogs. And when they go out, you know, in the backyard, and the crows are back. I mean, the crows are back there. They don't know what to do with them. You know, one minute they want to chase them, the next minute they're studying them because they're afraid of them. And we have what I call bombers, because I've noticed lately they will go after the dogs.
Gosh.
Yeah, they become territorial over my yard, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. You know.
Wow.
But,
Maybe they want the goodies.
Well, I noticed last week, I let the dogs out because I usually let them out, take care of their business and whatnot. And they were literally running from a horde of them, you know. And I had to bring the dogs in because, I mean, these birds were just on them. It looked like the actual movie, The Birds. There were so many of them.
That's scary. Which brings up
my
the
mom
topic
has
of
to watch whenever she puts Grizzly out. You know, that little dog is so precious. She gets nervous because he's so little. She's worried the big crows will grab him up and take him to the nest.
Well, I worry more about the vultures because where I'm living now, we're close to the highway and there's some construction, you know, they're still building homes out here. So I worry about those guys over the crows.
Oh my gosh. Well, no, I don't have any vultures where I live, but I have, they're kind of scary looking, you know.
which brings up the topic of totem animals, you know, and spirit animals. I know Tony has a lot of totem animals and spirit guide animals. Can you speak on that at all, Tony?
Yeah, I have dragons, and I've actually been told that my spirit animal would be a bear.
Cool.
And I actually had a friend who lives in Canada who's always refers to me as Bear, and don't know why, but you know, just calls me Bear. But yeah, I've been told I have a raccoon that's around here, and pretty much it.
And do you feel that they lend any kind of energy or power to you by being your like spirit guides or totem animals that you draw from them in any way?
I do. when I'm doing usually like the magical workings, I'll have I know the dragons are around when I'm doing that, and my gold for sure, and I think my black one who lives down here in my basement, I know she's around all the time because I can feel her, and but my gold one lends the most magical to it, and my silver one, I haven't seen him in a while, so he's got to be around somewhere, but.
Very nice. I have a black and gold one too, and I feel them too. They stay close and they protect us, don't they? And they lend us their energy.
They do, and I posted a picture one time on Facebook on the orders page of a dragon that appeared over my house up in the.
Oh, I remember that. That was big time. I remember it was pretty epic.
There was a big storm coming our way, and I literally stood outside and I yelled at the storm and says, "You stay away." And the funny thing is I had this feeling that I needed to turn around and look up, and as soon as I did, I saw it forming, and I started snapping pictures. And but it was weird. Is if I was smart, I would have taken a picture of the radar image, because my whole neighborhood was surrounded in a big circle that didn't have any clouds during this whole storm.
Like a whole army of dragons protecting it. That is cool as all.
I love that. I'm a believer in dragons too. In fact, Lady Angela gave me a little dragon this summer when I was having a rough time. It's a little pick me up, and I really love that little dragon. You know,
it's in your bedroom at Mom's house, ain't it?
Mhm.
I sent them a little baby. You've seen them online, guys. The little baby blue dragons that or all different colors, but they're hatching out of an egg, and they're so cute. Well, I sent Bob a blue one because he's always doing water magic. He's all about water magic mostly, but at Mom's house, especially by the beach, he's doing water magic. So he has little dragon elemental there at Mom's.
I do. I keep him there. So when I'm there, I tune into him. You know. And, Gav Hines just said that he went to a spiritualist church, and a medium there told him that he had I forget what it was. I just went by. It was a type of a dog as a totem, an Irish wolfhound, I believe. Mm-hmm. And, that's one of the wonderful things. When you do go to spiritualist churches, a lot of times the mediums will see totems around you.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I think that's great. I'm so glad to hear that.
And I believe we all have several totems, whether they're angels or animals or whatever, but guides, and especially animals. I think we all have several animals that we're closely connected with. I'm a very huge dog lover. I'm a magnet for dogs. I just love them. So they're definitely one of my totems, but there's several, that are my totems. And one of the ways you can know is, first of all, look around your house. I bet you have something there that's of an animal thing that you like and collect. Maybe it's paws. Maybe it's little trinkets of certain animals, or animals you just have around you. Maybe it's birds, maybe it's dogs, maybe it's cats of all kinds. You'll know what your totems are in that way, and once you start actively looking, you'll start seeing as well, and they'll present themselves to you. Maybe an owl will fly up on your yard, and for whatever reason you're certain to look out the window at that moment or see it. Or maybe something flies up on your windowsill and just lets you know, hey, I'm here, and if you need me, just call on me and I will send my energies towards you, to help bless you and help
somebody
you.
Say totems.
Huh?
Did somebody say totems?
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yep. Look there.
Carol got her totem with her.
Yeah, I have a living one. He's not feeling too well right now. He's been losing weight.
Oh.
So he wants
well, when you have an actual totem living with you, that's called a familiar. So that's Lady Carol's familiar. Well, they're totem and familiar, same thing, but usually totem would be an animal that's in a spirit form, and a familiar is one that's in a physical form.
Right. Right. So, Melanie Miller says something that I thought was really cool, Bob, and all you guys will agree because we're right there with her on this. She said that she's learning that she's a mix of a lot of stuff spiritually, and it's her intent and what works for her is what counts. We're all that's called being eclectic, and we're all eclectic in many different flavors, aren't we, guys?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, being of an artist's nature, on my end of it, I have, worked with so many different things, not just working with herbs, but, it's kind of hard to explain, but, I just go wherever spirit tells me to go. And a lot of times, you know, I will sit down and read a book and it'll catch my interest, you know, whether it be reading tarot or, you know, whatever, you know, crystal balls, working with crystals, just random thing. So, you know, I love being eclectic. I mean, it's a wonderful thing. It's always something. You never stop learning. You're always growing, and it doesn't matter what age you are. So
I agree with you. You know, as many of you know, I'm crazy about Thai food, and whenever I go to our local, not excuse me, Thai Vietnamese. Well, I like Thai food too, but I have a Vietnamese restaurant I go to, and they have a big shrine to the Buddha in their restaurant. And I go there and I always pray to the Buddha. And somebody wrote me recently, said, Bob, I thought you were a Wiccan. You're praying to the Buddha. And like I always say, you know, I said to him, I said, well, you know, I think that the God, the divine, manifests in a lot of ways. I'm very eclectic. I can go to a Buddhist temple and find a connection to the God there through the Buddha. And so, you know, eclectic means you're open-minded. You can see the truth all around you, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, in my own home, as far as deities, I have totems to Hecate. I have totems to Aphrodite. I have behind me Ganesh. I have Lakshmi in my home. I have a whole altar wall, big shrine dedicated to Guadalupe and Mary, you know, Christ's mom, and just all throughout my house. And I feel spiritually connected with spirit as a whole in many facets. And at different times in my life, I'll connect to spirit in different ways. And so I'll incorporate that into my practice and into my home, which is my sacred space. It is my temple, you know, for the energies we draw upon.
Salem Show said that they're going to bed. Salem, thanks for stopping in tonight. I hope you get some rest.
Dion YZ has a great question. They say, hey, I got a question. After you gave me a message shout out, I've been seeing and hearing my name almost everywhere every day. What does that mean? Could it be from their spirit guides?
Oh, yeah. That's your spirit guides trying to test the frequency, and they're just letting you know they're with you. Nothing ominous, nothing to be scared of, but they'll do that, you know. And they're funny because they'll find any way to get in front of you. You might see your name be on the side of a truck that, you know, goes down the street. It might appear on, you know, you might get mail with the same name, but it's for a different person. You're like, who is this? This isn't me, but it has your name on it. Oh, yeah. The spirit people will speak to you in so many different ways. And that's the wonder of connecting with the spirit, because they show it to you. I always tell people in readings, I said, don't believe it because I tell you. Go out and test it. You'll find out that the guides will give you evidence of their presence. Absolutely. I think that's great. Wonderful. You know, wonderful. You know, I know Lord Tony, you've had a lot of encounters with the spirit world, especially right in your own home, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They still continue to happen. I still got another one that's been sneaking up on me when I'm meditating here, and I'm not sure who it is yet. They don't seem bad. They just make me tingle. I have that's funny when you're talking about that. I keep thinking about this one that I keep seeing every day when I come home. It's always the same thing. I'll hear something running back down the stairs, and it's manifesting now into, so far it's a white blob, but it's been going on. It's been going on for months now. And I thought at first it was my cats, and all three of my cats are upstairs waiting for me. And it's literally I close the door and I hear this down the stairs. And I can look down there and I'll see a white blob. And well, all my cats are upstairs, so it's definitely something here. I'm not sure what yet. It could be my white dragon. I don't know. White dragons are usually pretty small, so this is only about maybe 2 feet in diameter. But
oh, how fascinating!
Wow.
You hear people, excuse me, come in so many different forms, and you know they can do that, make noise. I did an investigation last year of a guy. He had a shop. It was a golden shop where he sold gold and silver, and it was haunted. And I went down into his basement where he kept his files, and literally I heard feet go up and down his stairs while I was there. So I know that sound, that running sound.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's something they do sometimes. You know, I think that's really interesting. Well, you know, see, so like Dion, you know, be open to however they manifest, because they're trying to just get your attention, you know. And I think that's really important. Hold on, somebody's asking a question here.
God's
yeah, hi.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, Tina Sellen says that you're connecting. I've told her she's connecting to spirit realm. Yes, you are. Just keep talking to them, Tina. They're definitely with you now. Yeah.
God's Ministry asks, what do we think about Raymond Buckland? They're new to Wicca and just ordered a book of his. Also, I'm reading a book by Cardia Zoe. I don't know about Cardia, but Ray Buckland, I like his work, especially the big blue book of Ray Buckland's and also the big red book, which is on spiritual connection and spiritual communication. I love his work, and I find it's formal, but yet it's a little bit more easier to follow and do his rituals compared to some of the really old ones of like Gardner. What do you guys think?
I think he's more structured, is the word you're looking for. He has more structure to his rituals than, we can actually associate ourselves with. Gardner is more of traditional,
Mm-hmm.
The older ways than what we're used to.
Right. And Buckland?
I'd say he's more modernized to what we're used to, but he has more of a structure that we can, our mentality can associate with, other than going way back to the older ways where it's a lot harder to put the two and two together.
Right. So, where a lot of mainstream practice nowadays, I think, is a lot more like New Age rituals. It's a lot more freestyle, and we realize that we can put ourselves into it more rather than being worried about following this exact recipe of performing this spell or ritual. We realize now it's a little bit more loose, a little more New Age, we could call it. Yeah. But Ray Buckland's a great read. I love his work. He's great. Tony, have you read some Buckland? I bet you have.
Actually, I might have. I can't remember if I have or not. It's on my phone. Everything, all my books are in PDF files on my phone. Yep. And right now my phone is being used as a camera. So
gotcha.
I haven't really had.
You have.
I've read segments of they call it the Big Blue Book.
Right.
Witchcraft. That's a really great classic. I actually don't own that book. It's funny. I've never bought it, but I have read it before. I borrowed it from people and seen it at libraries. Yep. I need to get that actually to add to my collection.
I have it on PDF also, but I like the physical books too, Elizabeth Grove has a very interesting question. She asks, if you no longer resonate with a particular deity and have dedicated to that deity in the past, but find the connection is no longer for the highest good, how would we recommend respectfully ending it?
That's a really good question. In fact, I read an interesting, I'm trying to remember where it was now. It was in a book that I read about altering your main deity forms. I'll have to think of what it was. But basically what they said, which I thought was very insightful, was that try to remember this, that all gods are one god and all goddesses are one goddess. And that when we switch our deity form, let's say we worship Isis, and let's say we don't resonate to Isis, now we resonate to Goddess Diana. Well, we want to honor the ultimate goddess in the transition. And so what we do is we say, great goddess, you who manifest in all these forms, I've honored you, and tell the goddess, you've said, I have honored you under the name of Isis. I wish to still honor you, but now I see you as Goddess Diana, or whatever goddess you want. Will you please accept my worship in this form? And I will continue my connection, but I relate to you in this form. This is I think, a respectful way to shift your deity focus if you feel called to do that. And as I said, they emphasize that we do this for ourselves, that the gods are so superior and aware in consciousness that they don't get offended like we think they do. But we should always be reverential. And that's one way to do it. You guys have any thoughts on that?
I agree with that. And I also want to point out, the deities are all part of a whole, so just because you're honoring or connecting with another certain face of deity more now, that doesn't mean that you're breaking or severing a tie to the other, because it's all spirit. It's all part of the whole. spirit is so much bigger than we could comprehend, and you're still honoring deity, you know, and spirit sees that and honors that and loves you for that. I don't think you ever really have to break that tie. I think it's just a way of honoring a whole other facet of, you know, God.
Look what I just found on my tablet.
What, Tony?
Look what I just found on my tablet.
What is
I
it?
have Buckland's Complete Book of Witchcraft.
Oh, hold it up higher, silly.
It's right there.
Okay. I knew you had it. I've seen you post it before.
I wasn't sure if I had it on my tablet or not, but yeah, I got it on here too.
Yep. There was some talk in the chat about pendulums and what kind of a stone was better. I think it was Maria was saying selenite. That's a great one. And she said because it connects better with angels. Very good point. And it's very high vibrational. And she said pink rose quartz for love. That's true. And then Mama Bird pointed out something great and said, it was Moonfae asking. She says she's made pendulums from a string and a washer. And that's a very true point. And that you could also use a favorite necklace. That's a good point to talk about, though. How you can do simple things instead of high dollar things.
Do you know, for those of you who do herbal magic, I discovered a great pendulum. In fact, I don't have it here, but I have one. I was reading a book on herb magic. In fact, it might have been from one of Scott Cunningham's books. But he suggested taking a star anise and tying a string around it and using a star anise for those of you who work with herb magic. That's a great natural pendulum.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, isn't that a cool idea? I really like it.
I have a whole package of those sitting down here, and I'll have to try that out.
Try that out. I found it worked for me, and I love the vibe of it. So if you're into herbal magic, that's a great way to have a natural herbal pendulum.
That's so cool.
That's so cool. I think it was Scott Cunningham. If I'm wrong, forgive me. If somebody knows what book that's in, but I'm pretty sure it's Scott Cunningham.
Ponderous Pros asked an interesting question. They said, when a bird flies into a window, is it an omen of death?
For the bird.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Actually, you know what I interpret that? Well, I mean, everybody has a different interpretation. I look at that as kind of a sign like you just missed a blow. Sometimes that's a warning that some mad mojo has been cast your way, but it's been deflected. And the animal kingdom sometimes works in harmony with the higher power to shield us. So it's like that bird took the hit that was coming to you. So after I see that, I usually do protective magic in some way. It means like something I need to shield from. Just my take.
That's interesting. You know, at my granny's house, in the front of it, it has a very large window. And I guess the one side of it reflects so that it looks clear or whatever. And when they first moved in for the first few years, they had trouble with that. Birds would not know it was a window, and they would fly right into it. They'd be sitting there watching TV, and then smack. And they felt bad for the animals. So what they did is they went and they got it was a stuffed animal frog, a little thing about the size of your hand. Well, they strung it up and tied it from the roof where it dangled in front of that window. So the birds wouldn't hit the window anymore. They would know that there's something there. And it actually helped.
That's a great idea. Oh, I like that. Very cool.
Well, a long time ago, I actually read that you can take just a piece of black paper and cut out the shape of like a hawk and tape that to your window as well.
Right, that's a good one. Timothy Gallagher says that it could mean magnetic change or a drop of air pressure. That's a good point, too.
Very possible. Yeah.
Right.
So, you know.
Where I live close to an airport. So if birds fly into my window, I know why.
Matt Burns just said crows will bring gifts. That's very interesting. I haven't really observed that, but I'd be interested to hear more about that. Maybe crows do bring gifts, you know. Crows will bring gifts. So maybe, have y'all had a crow bring anything to you, like place something on your window ledge or at your porch?
What I know about crows are one of, well, they call them nature's thieves. They're like, I want to say muskrats. They like shiny things, and they will pick up different objects. And literally, if you like feed them like I'm doing, they will leave gifts for you. I had just had my yard cut, and I fed the birds like I normally do. And there were a couple of them that had, I guess, went to one of the neighbors' houses and found a piece of foil, and the other one found a piece of an earring. And they literally dropped them on my sidewalk going into my house. And when I went out to check, to see if they'd eaten all the food, I found them. So yeah, they will leave gifts behind, kind of like a thank you.
Oh, I love that. I'm gonna go feed some birds. That's so cool. I love that. Yeah, Matt Burns just said they will reward you if you feed them. So yeah, well, that's really cool. It gets you thinking really about that whole thing. Part of being Wiccan is really tapping into that interconnectedness of life. We are not separate from the birds. We're not separate from the trees. We're not separate from the waterways. It's all connected. And I think Wiccan spirituality really helps you to be aware of that. I was reading a book once by Starhawk. You guys know who she is? She has a wonderful classic book called The Spiral Dance. And she says that, because humanity has become disconnected from the earth, it's created great destruction. And I think it's true. Back in the 70s, if you go back, when I was a kid in the 70s, they used to show films on TV of industrial waste. And in those days, factories would pour wholesale waste right into local waterways, like no filtration, nothing. And a lot of people, because there was environmentalism starting, they started to recognize that. And so I think it's really interesting that, as we talk about the birds, we're also talking about our connection to life outside of just human life. I think that's really interesting to think about,
That is interesting. Schweinhund says, is it true that you could summon a spirit rift by destroying a crystal talisman? And if you destroy more than one, will the rift become interdimensional? I've never heard of such thing.
It depends. I guess I'd say is if you have a talisman that's encasing a spirit, then of course you could release a spirit. I'm not sure if that's what she's saying. Is that kind of what she's implying?
Not sure. I'll watch for the reply.
Okay. Well, Lady Angela, you've worked with spirits that you've had that have been attached to objects that spirit workers have prepared for you, haven't you?
Yeah, I think it's the opposite of what they're asking, though. They're trying to summon a spirit by crushing the crystal is like if you burn something, maybe how that sends it to the spirit world, maybe by crushing it, like if that was the favorite crystal of that spirit and you want to summon them, so you crush it to call them. I think that's kind of like what they're meaning.
I think if you're crushing a device that a spirit works through, unless it's an evil spirit, I don't think you're doing anything good. I wouldn't do that. That sounds kind of ominous or threatening. Remember that we don't demand that the spirit world work with us. We work in harmony with the spirits that come to us. Wiccans are a little different than ceremonial magicians. Ceremonial magicians, there are Wiccans that practice ceremonial magic. Most ceremonial magicians believe that we must summon, command, and control the spirits. Wiccan spirituality is different in that it says we work in partnership with the spirits. So it's a little different focus. And so I think what you're talking about sounds more like it could be ceremonial magic. Just my thoughts. Maybe you can explain the comments for us.
Moonfae asks, is it true that the center of a fairy star is a portal to the fairy realm? They just got one to wear.
Absolutely. Oh, I love I have fairy stars in my jewelry box. Yes. It's a way to, a lot of people use that as a portal device. Wonderful way to use it. Mm-hmm.
Tony, do you have to break things when you summon spirits?
No. Pretty much all the spirits I have around me have been basically bound to the energy of a crystal or a ring or some kind of pendant that I have. I was just thinking about what they were talking about though, and I'm wondering, if they use like say a quartz crystal, and they smash that with a hammer, that energy, you know, quartz crystals are used in piezoelectronics, and like even those little click lighters have a quartz crystal down on the bottom of them, and that's what makes that spark.
Oh.
I know something like a cubic inch of quartz crystal can produce over 1,000 volts, and I'm wondering if they're talking about maybe using that energy to actually force a spirit to come through.
Ah.
And that's not something I would recommend doing.
Right.
So it's kind of like a power source you're tapping into.
Right.
I have to agree with you, Loretta. I'm not sure that's the most positive way to raise energy.
Mm-mm.
You
Well,
know?
Rick's a good crystal too.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, here I've got a book sitting here on my desk, Lady Angela. I know you know this book. It's called Earth.
Oh, yeah.
For this person that wants to crush crystals, this book I recommend because it shows you ways to draw power from the earth to connect to higher realms that are not destructive and then don't hurt anybody. In fact, help everybody connected to the work. So there's a book I'm recommending, Earth Power by Scott Cunningham. Check that out.
Yeah, good point. We work, like in harmony. That's a wonderful way to put it. Mila has a question for Lord Tony. They asked, Lord Tony, what are your thoughts on Shungite harmonizers?
My opinion on them is I've never used them. I'm not sure exactly what they do unless it's meant to be like charging your energy system, but you can do that with regular crystals too. If you have one pointed towards you, like say from your left hand, and another one pointed out with your right hand, you can recharge your body using crystals like that. Maybe the Shungite does the exact same thing. I don't know. I haven't actually bought one, never really looked at them. I've seen them where there have been two different types of, like you have one that's Shungite and another one that feels like it's something else, so I'm not exactly sure.
Wow, that's a great answer, Tony. So we have a reply now from Schweinhund. They said, I just smashed it with a hammer. I kid you not, the power in my house flickered as soon as they struck the crystal. I bet it did.
I believe that. I believe that.
That must have been a big crystal. What a shame to smash it to smithereens.
I have to tell you, I think there's a better way to raise power. Don't do that. This is my personal opinion. I can't tell you what to do, but don't do that. Crystals are beautiful. Oh God, there's so many ways to raise power without doing that. But I believe you.
Use a potato if you need power like that.
There you go. Very interesting. You know, I tell you, we all love this show because we learn as much as y'all do, don't we? You know?
Oh,
we all do, you know?
Yep. G-Dog says, so Lord Tony was right on. So you were right on the money, Tony. God's Ministry has a good question. They ask, I was brought up in a strict Catholic household and am still Catholic, but I've been drawn to Wicca since I was a teen, and now I'm 20. What do you think about this?
Well, go ahead.
I was raised in a household that involved two religions. My mother was Catholic. My father was Baptist. So, hello. Yeah. If it's something that you're drawn to and you're feeling a deep pull to the religion, I suggest you research, see if it's something that you fit into, and if it is, go for it. It can't hurt you.
Yeah, you know, the very first one, in fact, I got to tell you, this was the very first book I ever read on Wicca. It's called Wicca, A Guide for the Solitary Practitioner. And my experience was a little different than yours. I wasn't actually drawn to Wicca. I was involved in spiritualism. But people would come to me for readings and say, oh, you're the coolest witch I ever met. And at first I used to get offended by this. I said, I'm not a witch, I'm a spiritualist. And so I went to research, and like Lady Carol said, start reading because it will help you understand what it is that you're being drawn to. And when I read this book, I really started to realize that many of the beliefs I held really were Wiccan. I just didn't know it. And, you know, Wicca is not something you just jump into. You know, it's traditional in our faith to take a year and a day to study, to commit, to make a commitment to being a Wiccan. So you don't have to rush it. Take your time. But the fact that you're drawn to it sometimes points to previous life connection. Lady Angela and I have talked about, we've always said, once a witch, always a witch. So somewhere in your past lives, maybe you have perhaps a connection to the craft. And you're now at a point where you're awakening that soul memory.
Absolutely. Dion YZ adds something to that I think is good. They say, I would try to understand why Wicca draws you in. Is it the beliefs? Is it the gods and goddesses? Is it the rituals? The more you know, the more you understand. I think that's a really great angle and really great point.
I think so too. Really good. Thank you, Dion. That's a really good point. He makes a really excellent point about, what's drawing you. I can just say in my own life that, and I'm not, please, no offense to the Christians here. I was at a point in my life also where I felt that Christianity, for me, now this is for me, was disempowering. Because when I had a crisis, my friends would just say, well, just give it up to God. He'll take care of it. And I said, I'm not happy just sitting around waiting for God. Wicca, for me, gave me the power to say, you have some responsibility in this. You can change your life. And Wicca gave me tools to help do that, to move forward in my life in a way that really was very dramatic. So, that's just part of my journey, though. So.
Right now, I have gotten a Bible stories book from a church close by, and I have my son reading it because I'm not going to force him to go and try different churches. I mean, he has to be familiar with the Christian faith before he can see if maybe Wicca is good for him or whatever. But I want him to familiarize himself and know what the Bible's about. So I got him this children's Bible story book, and it's for, not little kids, it's for advanced kids. So he's reading it, and at the end of each chapter, there's a couple questions, and him and I discuss what he's read. And I read this book when I was a little girl too, so I wanted him to read something I read. But as he's doing this, and I'm not telling him this, but I'm like, my goodness, it's just the remembering and the stories teach you to fear God, just with every ounce of your being, to be so afraid of God, because God gets mad and he kills everybody. It's just how the stories go. It just talked about the flood, and it just, and it's talked about these different things. And I'm answering the question, we're talking about it, and I'm doing it in the right way, but in the back of my head, I'm saying, my goodness, it's just reminding me about how it's so imprinted on you forcefully to fear God, with every ounce of your faith, where I feel close to my Creator. I feel close to God, and I love God, and I feel blessed by God, and absolutely afraid to do wrong, but I don't do wrong. You know what I mean? And I feel so close to God, and it's so freeing when you step outside of that Christian boom, 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 fearfulness of it. And it's just, I want him to know about it, and then he can expand his mind and know other stuff, after that. But I want him to familiarize, but I'm hearing it, and it tripped me out the other night because he's reading it, and we're having this talk about it. I'm like, my goodness, they put God across like he, she, deity as such a mean presence. And it's sad. It's disheartening.
I want to say something about that because I actually went to Catholic school. I went from public school to Catholic school for 2 years. And I was so miserable. I literally flunked the 7th grade thinking they would throw me out. They kept me another year. Mm-hmm. And while I was there, I mean, I was a mischievous kid. A lot of us are. But I got more spankings in Catholic school than I did from my own parents. And it's taught me, it's not this whole loving and godly environment that I'm used to. I mean, if you write in cursive in the wrong manner, you get swacked across your hands with a ruler.
Yep.
I was not used to that, and it made me actually hate it.
Right.
Because of that. It was more abuse than, you would normally get for, breaking your mom's favorite vase. So that is one of the factors that made me sway from being Catholic, And then, of course, I went through my life and I explored different you know, churches and different religions and different things. And finally, eventually, I found my own way. Now, I'm proud to say this. You know, I'm 55. I think I'm the oldest in this group. You know, it took me a long time. It wasn't something I jumped into. It took me a long time. So for anybody that's searching and looking, take your time. Because when you find your way home, whatever it is, it will stay with you.
Oh, Kara, I think that's beautiful. And Lady Angela, I think what you said is so true. I think it's that, you know, it's so important that we focus on our spiritual life. You know, our culture has become so, what's the word I'm going to say, secularized and humanistic. You know, I see this all the time as a psychic. People come to me, they've had the best of education, they have the best money, they have the best health care, they take care of their body, they have everything in order in their financial life. But what are they missing? They're missing a true connection with the spirit world. And I always say we're all body, mind, and spirit. And if we ignore that spiritual self, we can do that. But someday you'll wake up and it will call to you. You'll wonder why. You know, where am I? What's the purpose of life? Some people have that at their midlife. They call it the midlife crisis. I like to say I had my midlife crisis at 25, so I got through all that young. I'm now 50, and I tell you, you know, when you like you know, the person that's 20 years old that asked the question, now is a great time to do that deep soul searching. Find out what's true to you, what works, because that's going to give you a lot of help in your life. It'll give you power. You may discover that Wicca is not for you. Maybe you'll discover Buddhism, or maybe you'll discover Judaism or some other faith. It doesn't matter what you follow, but it's important that you understand and you do it because you're called to it. And if you're drawn to the craft, you know, we in the craft, we don't really do proselytization. We don't try to convert people. But I have to say, secretly, I'm hoping you will like the craft.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's so freeing, you know, it's so open-minded and freeing. And I felt so, I explored a lot of different religions. You know, I went to Baptist, I went to Catholic, I went to Jehovah's Witness, I went to, you know, many different Christian churches. And I read the Mormon Bible. I read the, you know, the regular Bible. I just wanted to read everything because I knew there's something bigger out there. And once I had read all of that, you know, then I stumbled across the Scott Cunningham book. And it was it's called Earth, Air, Fire, Water. And also the Earth Power book was my second book, but it gave me that aha moment because I was feeling things and knowing things. I knew that the answer was bigger than what I was being told because it was being taught such fearfulness and enclosure. And suddenly the aha moment just turned on the lights to the world, to the universal energy, to a way that we can have control of our lives and affect our life. Instead of simply sitting there and taking what it threw at us, we can be an active force in creating our life and embracing the energies around us. And I never felt so loved and connected with my creator, with our creator, with God, you know, and all the faces and names of God, to feel so close and loved and connected instead of disconnected and fearful.
You know, Lady Angela, you said it so right. That's what the craft has done for me as well. It's allowed me that sense of connection and peace and empowerment. And I tell you, you know, we don't go out preaching in the street. Wicca is not a conversion religion. We say that you have to be called to it. But I'll tell you, when people ask me, they say, Bob, I want to learn, I'm very happy to share it with them. And I'm happy that you, as a Catholic, took the time to venture into our group tonight, because first of all, you're welcome. You know, we welcome everybody, regardless of religion. But I'm really glad that you took that. I think it's a step of bravery to say, I need to address something. Something in my life isn't working, and I need to find out where that is. And, you know, I would say, you know, when you look back at your Catholic faith, you're probably at a point where you're saying something's just not working for me. And that's okay, because questioning is the beginning of wisdom. And Wicca comes from the ancient word of wisdom and also to bend. from Wicca, which is Old English. And so we believe that the witches can bend reality through our magic, but we also do that through a place of wisdom, not compulsion. So we don't do black magic, we don't do curses, because I'll tell you, if you tell your family you're studying Wicca, they'll probably get upset by that. And I want you to hear from us that, witches are not evil. Wicca is not evil. And you may have questions about that. We'll answer that too if you want,
Right. We're very misunderstood. People fear what they don't know and what they don't understand. And the way that they teach you Christianity, you're supposed to completely turn around and run the other way from any other way of thinking, so it just sucks. Bob Bahakali Shimochi says something that I think maybe you want to think about. They said, why is it people don't love me, but I take care of myself with self-love practices? People don't nurture. I am abandoned and rejected and not sure why.
I think it's because you're an old soul. When you're an old soul, sometimes it's a really challenging path because you're just outside of the mainstream. Your consciousness transcends people around you. And that's not that you think you're better or anything. It's not like that. It is the reality that your vibration is higher and different. One of the things that I think would be very helpful for you is, well, first of all, I'm glad you came to our group tonight, because people here will get you and understand you, because only high-level souls are drawn to our gathering. We're among friends, let me tell you that. There's a wonderful gemstone. It's called orange calcite. Maybe you guys know that stone. This is a stone that helps stimulate friendship and drawing people to you. And if you wear that stone or carry it with you, I think it will help raise that drawing energy. You will draw to yourself people that are in harmony with you. So it's not that you're not loved. It's just that you're around people who don't understand you because you are a higher frequency. But among us here at the Purple Horde, the Order of the Purple Horde, you certainly have people that understand you, and we welcome you.
Absolutely. Dion says something wonderful. They say, to me and from what I've gone through, Wicca is open to you no matter who you are. You aren't pushed into a box, and you don't have to hide yourself. Your spirit guides are not judgmental too. That's awesome. That's very true.
Absolutely.
Also,
whenever I have interaction with the spirit world, it's always been loving. As many of you know, yesterday I did my seance video. If you haven't seen that, check it out. It's in the queue right before this video. And, the guides that come through me, the channel, bring such compassion and wisdom. I feel so blessed by them. When I go back and watch the tapes of the seance, I get like amazed. I'm like, I can't believe these beings talk for me. It's amazing.
Absolutely. There's some talk in the chat about sigil magic, and I know we all work with sigils. And I'd like to say I believe sigils are even an older form of magic than it predates actual writing. The cave people and way back even before pagan times, we would write symbols on the rocks or on the walls, on the cave walls, and it was signs to each other and signs to the gods. Sigil magic is very, very ancient.
Oh, yes. One of my favorite, sigils is the triquetra. The triquetra is a very simple sigil, but you can draw that on a piece of paper and carry it in your wallet. It's powerful. For you don't know who that is the symbol. It's a triple knot symbol. It's a Celtic symbol. I might have a picture over here.
I got a pen and paper I can show them. Oh, you got it? You got it.
Down at the bottom here, right above my finger, that's a triquetra. That's an old sigil. This is out of Scott Cunningham's book, but that's where I first learned it, was from this book. And for those who watched the old TV show Charmed, that's the symbol that they always used and use. So if you don't know any sigils, learn that one. That's a great place to start, and it covers a lot of things. It'll connect you to the triple goddess. It will be protecting. It's just wonderful, wonderful thing. It'll help you connect to past lives. It has a lot of uses. You know.
I have an actual story about the triquetra.
Oh, do tell.
Well, before I stepped onto the path, I had gone to an event with my kids, you know, and there was a guy selling jewelry. And he had this little teeny tiny, I mean, this thing was like maybe half an inch big, triquetra. And I didn't know what it was at the time. But it had pulled me to it like a magnet. And I wanted it so bad. I was like, oh, I like this one. There was a whole tray of different things. But the triquetra pulled me in. And he was selling it for like $20. You know, just a little teeny tiny thing. And I only had $10 on me. This is the power of angels and guides. I could not take my eyes off of it. And I was like, well, I wish I could get it, but I don't have enough. He goes, how much do you have? I said, I've only got $10. He said, here, it's yours.
Oh.
I wore that for over 17 years. And the only time I ever took it off is if I had to go to a doctor appointment or, be in a hospital or whatever. But I wore it for 17 years straight.
Oh.
And it is still the same shape, looks brand new the day I bought it. So
Isn't that amazing?
there are some sigils out there that are, for you. You just have to wait for them to pull you in.
That's awesome. But Bahal Kalish, and I'm sorry if I'm chopping up your name by saying it, but Bahal Kalish Shimochi asks, but what is an old soul?
Oh, well, that's a soul that's had many incarnations. It's not always necessarily just the number, it's the quality of the incarnations and what the person's done with it. They grow their soul through many varied experiences. And when you encounter an old soul, you always know it because you can just look in their eyes and you see it. You're like, that soul is old.
Even babies.
What's that?
Even babies, some babies, you look at their face and you could tell they're looking around and know what's going on. And other babies, you can look in their face and everything's new and they're just, everything's a surprise. But you can spot an old soul, especially in babies.
Absolutely. Simba agrees. A soul that has been around a long time.
Yep.
Probably had a lot of incarnations. Yes. There you go.
Investigative journalist asks, have we ever heard of chaos magic? Now, I have, and someone, I don't know if it was you or Gab earlier, said about how it's a mishmash of everything. I work chaos magic. When I have the inspiration that I need to work some magic, I grab what comes to me that I need to use that's close by, and I use it, and I make the magic. I do the ritual. So that's what I believe is chaos magic, is what you have at hand, using it and making it work for you.
I would agree. I think chaos magic is not necessarily chaotic in the sense of destruction. I think it breaks the rules, because
spontaneous.
Yeah, it's kind of out there. It's a little radical. Like, for example, in the old traditional Wiccan ritual, you'd have to do a formal circle called the course. Sometimes magic could be you just go run and jump in a lake, pray to the water gods. It's so radical and different, but it works. By the way, I don't recommend jumping into a lake in the middle of winter, but
Investigative journalist.
Chaos magic is, well, especially if I'm working with herbs, I look like a mad scientist. I don't know why, but I have a tendency, if I'm working with my herbs, I will smell them. Like cooking in a kitchen, and I'll like this one. Or I don't like this one. And it'll go in. And I'm working a spell for whatever reason. It could be for healing. It could be for prosperity. It could be, whatever. But I use my senses when I work with my herbs. A lot of people think, oh, you have to follow what's in the book. No, you don't. Because a lot of times what somebody else calls an herb there's a substitute for it if you don't have it. So go with your instinct whenever you're doing any kind of chaos magic, but be careful. Know what you're dealing with. Because I've said this before in previous shows, especially when working with herbs. And I know you guys, if you work with herbs, you'll agree with me. Be careful of your herbs because some herbs can be poisonous. And, you know, you don't want to mix something poisonous and something you're going to use for a healing potion. So be very careful on that. But when you're working with chaos magic, sometimes it comes that way. And it works better than following a book. So, you know, take it from that.
One form of chaos magic that I have to also jump in on a side note. I agree with you about the herbs in here. But I have sometimes young people come to me or starting out in the craft, and they want to do weather magic. Weather magic to me is a form of chaos magic, but it's not one I recommend. You know, I don't think you should just start playing with it because you don't understand sometimes the repercussions. You might say, oh, I want a powerful thunderstorm to raise power for a spell. You do it, but you might burn down your neighbor's house with a lightning strike.
Right.
You're very careful with that. That's a form of chaos.
Good point, Bob. That weather magic is like chaos magic because when the weather rolls in and you go out and start working magic using that weather, it's absolutely spontaneous and it's chaos magic. That's a great point. Mm-hmm. I never thought of that, but I think that was a home run.
Yeah, let me just clarify. If it's already present in your drawing power, that's one thing. But I actually have known people who've gone out on a clear blue day and literally conjured up a thunderstorm.
Oh, wow.
And you can do that, but I don't recommend that.
Yeah, I this happened years ago. It was like 2 weeks to my birthday. And people kept asking me, what are you going to do for your birthday? What are you going to do for your birthday? You know how they harass you. And I'm like, I don't want to do anything for my birthday. I want it to rain. I don't want to party. I don't want anything. You know, when you start getting older, you're like, I don't want to hear the word birthday. Well, that was a mistake. I created a flood literally here in San Antonio on my birthday. And on that particular day, my friend had asked me prior to the storm hitting, hey, can you come help me move? Okay, I'll go help her move. I didn't want to party. We get out there. We help her pack up all her stuff. Just as we're taking everything out, we get the last box out of her apartment to help her move, and the storm hits. Guess who gets caught in the flood? The one who asked for the rain.
Oh.
Be careful what you ask for.
So motive, people. I look at that.
Yeah.
Look at the time, Bob. My goodness.
Oh, gosh, Lord Tony. Tony got that titanium there. Do you got titanium?
He keeps
fine bit metal, isn't it, Lord Tony?
Just for you, Bob.
What was that?
Yeah, I call that the time bit metal.
You keep it for Lord Bob.
Oh, definitely.
I think if Tony made a time machine out of titanium, it would be amazing.
Yeah. It'd be expensive.
It would be, but it's all. Well, guys, I tell you, I don't know where the time goes. We just blink and the hour flies by. Thank you, Lord Tony, for keeping an eye on the time with us and with that titanium. But anyways, guys, we are so glad you're here. We want to thank you. Thanks for coming out. You had really great questions. We so enjoy it. You know, keep it here at Spirit Channel. We got more coming. Tomorrow is, what's tomorrow? Monday. What's that going to be, Lady Angela?
Horoscopes.
That's right. We'll have horoscopes, so make sure to be back here tomorrow. But I'm glad you're here, you know, and if you get a chance, you know, pop over. You want to do some research and do some soul development. We all have websites here. So Lady Angela's got a wonderful site called RareWiccaSpells.com. And you can pop over and get some books. You can get spell pages. You can get everything. I'll let her tell you about it. Go ahead, Lady Angela.
Oh, yes. I have thousands of items from, I have candles, I have herbs, I have crystals, I have books, I have clothing, I have all sorts of stuff, all kinds of magical things there at RareWiccaSpells.com. And be sure when you check out, use coupon code Spirit Channel, all one word, and you'll save 10% every time. And if you haven't done so already, go to Psychic Bob's website, psychicbob.com. He has books I tell you, if you haven't read one of his books, they're wonderful. And those of you who have read them, you can vouch for me. It's just like sitting here watching one of his videos. He's Bob, you know, and it comes right through in his books. They're wonderful. You learn a lot, and it's just like hanging out with them. It's just awesome. And check out get a reading with him. He's awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you can still. We do have a few openings left on the schedule.
Oh yeah.
So I'd love the chance to do, you know, private reads, you and me one-on-one for an hour. We cover everything, past, present, future, spirit guides, past lives, your life mission, you know, deceased loved one messages, all of that, to answer all your questions. So definitely come, you know, you can connect with me through my website. Probably easiest just to call me, 703-825-3929, or you can write to me, readings@robert-shannon.com. Those links will be below. Lord Tony also is a wonderful source for you, because Lord Tony, tell us about your spiritual work.
I do angelic energy healing. Basically, I let the angels work through me, and we send energy to where it needs to go to your bodies to help fix you up. Right now, I'm actually taking a little break from that. My head's not in a good place at the moment, so it's too many weird things happening lately, and I just don't want that energy to get mixed in with anybody else's. So I'm just kind of keeping that all that to myself. I'm sure it'll pass soon, but
well, you know, that's part that tells you what a quality healer Tony is, because Tony recognizes that you have to have balance in your life to do this work. So Tony, we acknowledge and honor you for that balance. And I want everybody here, if I have Lord Tony's permission, to send a little healing to his way, because he does an awful lot for all of us. All of us here on the panel have been healed by Tony, so I can testify to his power.
Definitely.
And Lady Carol, you're over there, and Lady Carol's soon going to have a website. She's working on it fast and furious. Tell us about what you're doing.
I've sort of created the site. I'm just doing a lot of, you know, construction and critiquing on it right now. It's going to be called Lady Carol's Wands and More.
Cool.
Right now, I'm actually making wands. As soon as I finish them, I'm going to be posting them on the site and getting the site up and running. It may not be for Yule, but it will definitely be within the new year time. But for right now, I'm still working on creating of the wands. So I want to have a good number to put up there so everybody can kind of look and see what's out there.
Oh, that's exciting, Carol. I know I've been looking forward to seeing you having some of those ready to go.
You already got some of my wands.
Oh, yeah, I have one right here. They're amazing. This is my favorite one. I keep it close by. It has a swirly do down it, which I love.
Yeah.
Whoops. They're all different.
Yeah, the ones that I make, I use copper, because copper helps to magnetize the energy within yourself and in the wand. A lot of people will say, oh, you can just use any kind of metal. No, you can't. I found copper makes the best conducting, and I'm sure Lord Tony will agree with me since he works with metals about conducting energy. Some of the wands have them, some won't, because it's personal choice. A lot of people don't want to use it that way. So I'm trying to come up with different options for different, wands. But I want to have a good selection when I come out for the, grand opening, so to speak. And yeah, I know you're going to get the first choice, but Lord Bob gets a wand this time.
Yeah.
He didn't get one last time.
Well, I'm going to be working some mojo, girl,
Yeah, definitely. But as soon as the new year passes through, hopefully I will have it up and running the way I want it. So
I'm so excited. Well, we got a lot to look forward to. So we're going to have Lord Tony back in commission when he's ready. We're going to have your wands coming. And in the meantime, you can get on my schedule for reading. Go to Lady Angela. So reach out to all of us, keep up with us, because we want to help you on your journey. That's what we're here for. I thank you guys. Guys, listen, thanks for being here tonight. We've had such a good time, and I am so very thankful for everybody's come out, for all of our panel here. So I want to say good night. I'm Lady Carol. Why don't you say good night to everybody?
Good night, everybody, and I hope you have a blessed evening and a blessed day.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lady Carol. Lord Tony.
Good night, everyone. This has been an awesomely long and fun show tonight. So, and thank you for everyone that's already been sending the blessings and love. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you who've been helping Lord. We count on him. He's a guardian and a healer. We need him so much. Thank you, Lady Angela.
Absolutely, and we're going to continue sending you some positive vibes, Tony, so you feel better and to help you out with what you're dealing with. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. I think it was an awesome show, and I can't wait for next week's show, too. Good night.
Good night. Well, guys, thank you for being here. I love all of you. Listen, keep it here at Spirit Channel. Tomorrow we got horoscopes coming. Tuesday we got messages from the spirit world. Wednesday we got Wicca Wednesday. By the way, just a real quick plug. Wednesday we're going to talk about the Green Man, so make sure to be here, okay? And we'll have more throughout the week, but I hope you'll be here. Listen, help me out. You know, YouTube isn't so kind to me these days, so help me. Like this video, thumbs up, favorite it, share it with your friends, post it on your sites around the media. Let people know about the work we do here at Spirit Channel. We'd love you to be here, and make sure to hit subscribe and go to each of the other people's channels and hit subscribe. Their links will be below. You guys, I love you. We'll see you back here tomorrow. And until then, may you all always blessed be.